What's going on, sports fans? Welcome back to the Sports Binge with your host, yours truly, the lead relaxer, Will Cotry. It's always truly a privilege to speak to you guys on the world of sports. Whatever comes to mind. Whatever I want to speak upon for that given time. But more so, I appreciate you guys listening. Listen to me. Bicker and complain. From time to time. So just want to appreciate your support as I do rebrand my YouTube channel and become more consistent as the new year approaches. So I want to give you guys more consistent, more reliable content that you can trust me to do, and I'm willing to deliver for you guys because you guys deserve it. So I just want to get that out of the way real quick. Now I want to get into my subject matter at hand. And if any of you guys been watching if you guys keep up with the NBA, just one of the biggest stories right now going is Anthony Davis, in his future plans for his NBA career, and they recently played as a day or so ago the Pelicans played the Lakers, in Los Angeles, and which of course that's the team LeBron plays for, LeBron James, in his first season, his debut campaign with purple and gold. The rumors galore, about that's where Anthony Davis is going to be in the foreseeable future, very foreseeable future. And it's really the writings on the wall, and I've been saying this for quite some time. It's really obvious at this point. There was rumors that LeBron and Anthony Davis, they met up to dinner. That's a rumor. There's a leak or whatever the case may be. That's what took place. So we're just gonna take that for what it is. Take that with a grain of salt, however you want to do it. And the thing is, and like before, like when they lost to when the Pelicans lost to the Lakers on Friday, you know, Anthony Davis told Yahoo Sports that he wants to have a legacy. He was said, quote, according per Yahoo Sports, I take legacy over money. All of my people that look up to me, the younger kids, I want them to know about AD's legacy, championships, the things I do in the community, being a good teammate, playing hard. All this stuff matters to me the most. All that stuff matters the most to me. Don't get me wrong, money's amazing, but I think in that sense, money or legacy, I think my legacy will win that battle every time. Close quote. And this is something I've really been saying for years, about athletes, professional athletes, especially in the National Basketball Association. And notice that first word that comes to mind, that jumps out the page to me, is championships. I granted he said about the community, which is of course is very important, very admirable, but that word championships struck a nerve with me. And I've been saying this for a long time with NBA players, professional athletes in general, of course, but especially in particular NBA players, that championships, they carry that weight for the superstar players who prioritize winning. And I've said one thing I've said on numerous occasions online is that when you when you're comparing NFL players, NBA players, when it comes to championships, now they both mean a great deal for each players, regardless of either sport they play. But in the NBA, unlike football, basketball is a two-way sport. See, in football, you can't play both positions. You can't play both sides of the football. That's why a lot of football aficionados, they won't hold Barry Sanders accountable for not winning a championship, because as a running back, as legendary as he was, the Hall of Fame running back, he just didn't have the same control as a quarterback would, for obvious reasons. And then, yeah, of course, like the bigger thing, with the NFL, just football in general, just the health with the concussions, not just concussions, just like injuries in general, that really derail a team's chances for winning anyway. So you got those two huge critical factors. In the NBA, however, it's a two-way sport where the stars, they're playing out of like 36 to 40 something some odd minutes a game out of a 48 regulated minute game of just a typical standard basketball game. And they have a two-way sport, so the stars, they could control both sides of the floor at any given moment, because that's just the natural structure of the game. And so that's why I push so much harder. Like, I'm much harder on basketball players, because they have the just the natural leverage, and they have the natural ability to be able to control their destiny. Which brings me to this point about AD, about what I've been saying for the longest time. Just the same thing with Kevin Durant, and same thing with DeMarcus Cousins, and now the same thing, of course, with Anthony Davis, is that these guys, they need to do what's best for their careers. They need to do what's best for their futures in basketball. I tell people all the time is that these guys, they're going to make money and they're going to get their numbers wherever they go in the NBA. I don't care. 30 teams, they're going to make their money and they're going to get their numbers regardless. And that's what he's saying right here. Like, money's great. he has a lot of it, but he wants the championships. And the Pelicans, like, this organization is not where you need to be to win such a thing. And one of the interesting things, the interesting thing that I found out, that I looked at on Twitter, was a local reporter from New Orleans, Sharif Highshack. He used to be on the WAFB for all the Louisiana people out there. I was a fan of his, really energetic, whenever I did see him on TV. I haven't seen him in quite a while. It's funny that I saw him today on Twitter. And so Kurt Henlin of Basketball Talk, that's his ad name, he said, he was basically quoting late to what Anthony Davis said on Friday. He said, "I take legacy over money." And Sharif, he quoted the tweet. He said, "You know how Anthony Davis can build a legacy, ? By not joining other superstars in a large market. Build your own legacy on your own team. Win a NOLA and recruit guys. I'm sick and tired of the whole you can recruit to small market teams. You can. OKC did it. How? ? When? ! And did the, as you can see, the muscle emoji. And he got a lot of traffic for that tweet. He got 80 retweets when I cropped the photo. 80 retweets and 259 likes. And, I just felt like that whole, obviously, Pelican fans supported that tweet. I just felt like, personally, it was very silly to even say something like that. Granted, I understand he's a local reporter, but as you can see, I said LOL. I think that is really just a silly thing to say. Because I just feel like, building your own legacy, like just trying to stay in New Orleans and stay put, and it just doesn't really make sense to me. And what surprised me, honestly, is that he responded and he said, "Not sure what's so funny. If you're scared to build your own legacy, then that's cool. If you want to be like LeBron and KD, then that's not building the legacy." I responded to him by saying that it has nothing to do with fear, quote unquote. If he wants to leave, that's completely his decision. He doesn't owe the New Orleans anything. You have to put yourself in the best position to succeed, as I said earlier, I alluded to before. Besides, if someone recruits you like that, why not leave? See, if LeBron were to recruit me, that's very enticing. It's LeBron James, guys. That's self-explanatory. You can't, you can stop right there. I mean, why not entertain that at the very least? So, of course, Sharif, he responds again and said, AD has 2 years left on his contract and he's already letting his agent do all the talking. He's asked the question, how does that look to you if you're a fan, teammate, coach, and executive, etc.? And he said, it's a bad look. Focus on the now. After you're left on my deal, I'm not out here talking to other stations. I kind of feel like just being like smart aleck, whatever you want to call it. And one thing I responded to him by saying that's not up to the fans, executive, etc. to decipher if that's a bad look. That's really not up to me as a fan, or that's to the executive. And I was telling him that. Do you think the Lakers and the Celtics are concerned about if that's a bad look that he get his agent talking? They're not concerned about that. They're not concerned about that. And he said, "You're right. He can do whatever he wants. He doesn't need to be loyal." And look what Saber did. Yeah, like I looked at it, and as soon as he said Saban, I was like, he just lost my He just lost my credibility. His credibility with me. I said, I couldn't believe he brought it. Of course, from Nick Saban, former LSU football coach, national championship coach, legendary coach now, went to the Miami Dolphins for a 2-year stint in the National Football League before signing that deal to become the new head coach for the University of Alabama. And I was telling him it's not even comparable because Saban went to the NFL before even accepting the Alabama job. So that's not even comparable. And you say, yes, it is comparable because he did what was best for him. NFL was bigger and better, and AD leaving would be a bigger and better opportunity. And he said, it's all the same in my book. And I was basically saying, he's actually saying my whole point from earlier that I've been trying to make all along, said AD should be applauded for that. And that was the conversation right there. Then there was another fan. Another fan came at me. He said he was responding to my tweet and said that's not up to the fans and the executive executive to decipher if something is a bad look or not. That's not their decision, ultimately. And the fan said, was it one angry midget? Okay. And he told me that it's up 100%. It's 100% up to the fans to decide if it's a bad look. And he said, I vote with my money, fool. Call me a fool. Okay. He said, I've had season tickets for more years than I can count, mostly with bad basketball. Bad basketball I can accept. That's something he can accept. He said, BS like this with Anthony Davis, he said, no, I'm out. And I was telling him that, basically, again, what I'm saying is that from a fan could feel whatever they want to feel. I said, basically, I would say it's irrelevant at the end of the day because the players they're in control of their future. And I quoted him and said, I vote with my money. He said, I was telling him, like, that's on you first, spend the money on the poor products. It makes me laugh when, fans, they get up in arms about these athletes, about making their decision that's best for them. As of course, Kevin Durant took a tremendous amount of flack for signing with Golden State. They say, well, he was already with a contender team. He already went to a team that, won a championship already. But what people don't realize is that Golden State was already sizing up to get Kevin Durant 2 years earlier. That was already reported. So it wasn't just like out of the blue. They were already recruiting him like 2-3 years earlier, back in 2014, 2015. That's when it's sourced. So it wasn't like this out of the blue, like spur of the moment type situation. A lot of people don't report that. They don't talk about that for whatever reason. I don't know. That's on them. We have to realize that athletes are going to do what they want to do. They don't owe the city of New Orleans any. Well, speaking of Anthony Davis, he doesn't owe the city anything. This is a franchise that has proven that they can't take care of their stars. They can't keep stars. You lost CP3, lost Boogie, and you're gonna lose AD. And that's just inevitable at this point. And, it is unfortunate for that franchise because we do have supportive fans down here, but when the Lakers when a better situation calls, that it's just tough to really say no to it because people need to realize that you only have one career. And if I'm AD, I'm not going to sit in neutral and wait for the Pelicans, wait for a franchise that hasn't proven to build a consistently dominant product throughout its history. Even with Chris Paul, even with the short stay of Boogie, even with AD, they've had marginal playoff success, but it's not enough to really get you over the hump into what you need to be successful, what you need to draw free agents. And you can say draw free agents all you want to, but even with the pieces they have now, it's not as attractive as other places are. So when you trade away draft, as people need to realize as well that they talk about super team Golden State, but Golden State before Kevin Durant, all those core players were drafted. Steph Curry drafted by the Warriors, Klay Thompson drafted, Draymond drafted. People need to understand this is still a drafted product. Now, of course, they got the big fish free agent, but the core was already established through the draft, through the June draft. And when you give up draft assets like the Pelicans have, it's just really tough to build your franchise moving forward. Because at the end of the day, you like I said, you have one career. You have one stretch of your prime, and you're playing your best basketball. Because let's say if AD does sit here and wait for a franchise to get pieces around him, they don't. He's rotting away. His best days are rotting away in front of our very eyes. And you only get one chance at this. He needs to go and do what's best for his career. He should be applauded for that, just like KD should be applauded for. I don't care about he went to Golden State or whatever. Because if he stayed in OKC and if he wouldn't have won that ring, we would have still questioned him. The same fan that dogged him out would have been the same fans that said, "Why he ain't win a ring yet?" Yeah, you just athletes need to understand you can't win with fans. That you have to do what's best for you, and these athletes should be applauded for exercising their power and leverage. They need to be applauded for that. If you don't like it, that's too bad. It's a business, and that's really the gist of my video. Just that these athletes. Now, obviously, AD is the specific main subject matter in this video, but it's really a broad general concept for all athletes professionally, is that they need to exercise their power. They need to do what they need to do to put themselves in the best position to succeed, period. No questions asked. Because by the way, fans, they're going to complain today, they're going to play tomorrow, they can play next week, next month, next year. But guess what? You guys still tuning in. You still tuning into the product. So that's what goes back to the point I had about that fan, the angry midget, whatever. He was saying that supporting I supported bad basketball for years. So you're proud of so you're pouring your hard-earned money to a subpar product, an underperforming product. That just doesn't make sense to me. A lot of fans, they don't give their favorite teams the incentive. You don't give them the incentive to change anyway. But you want to be upset when the best player leaves. The front office is not doing what they need to do to put themselves in the best position to keep their star players. But you get upset when the star player leaves. Because, if he stays, it's like if a guy gets get hurt or gets fired, so you're not paying his bills. You're not paying. You know what I'm saying? It's I just feel like fans they just go too much. Fans are too much, and like I said earlier, they need to. It's too bad, but you gotta get over it. Period. Then that's gonna wrap it up for me, guys, for this episode of the Sports Binge. I just appreciate you guys tuning in. I just wanted to share my piece with that AD situation real fast. So, just be sure to share this video. It's gonna be a huge topic for the next several months. So, share it with your friend, buddy, whoever. Co-worker, I don't care. Significant other, please share it to them. Subscribe to my channel and be sure to follow me on throughout social media. So God bless you guys, and I'll see you next time.